Hey YouTube, these are my friends Jake and Naomi, and we're here as a thing for my podcast that I do for myhogwarts.com. I've mentioned my Hogwarts several times before, but if you're not familiar, it's a fan site for Harry Potter. Today we're doing a discussion about Fantastic Beasts, the Crimes of Grindelwald for the podcast. So I will link below my Hogwarts and the podcast and all of that. And this is the live video for all of our MH friends. Welcome. You guys want to introduce yourselves real quick before we get officially started?
Yeah, I'm Jake on the site.
Awesome.
I'm Naomi. Naomi
Cool.
Jane on the site.
Yep.
Got my name. Yeah.
And yeah, my username's Ganchi, if anyone didn't know that yet. And yeah. So, what was that?
I was going to say mine is Jake HP7 specifically.
Specifically. There we go. All right. So we're going to now start the actual podcast segment, which will be edited and shorter. So today I have Jake and Naomi live in the studio all together. We're going to be discussing Fantastic Beasts, the Crimes of Grindelwald. So first things first, how many times have you guys seen the movie? What's your history?
I've
Just
seen
once.
it, yeah, once.
Once, yeah, me too. I saw it over Thanksgiving weekend, I think.
I saw it
I didn't even...
I saw it that Thursday night before it came out, the early screening.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw it the week after it came out.
Yeah. I would have tried to go earlier because it usually comes out around my birthday, but with the baby and stuff, I couldn't get some time off this time. I went with my sister, and the movie theater had heated seats, which was weird. Anyway.
Cool.
So the first question is, did you enjoy it?
I think I liked it more than the general consensus did. Personally.
Okay, all right.
I liked it. Are we talking spoilers at all, or?
I mean, yes, definitely. But the first question is, did you like it? The second question is, do you think it was a good movie? Because for me, I would say, yes, I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was a good movie.
Yeah, I
think
enjoyed it if I can overlook the plot holes. I enjoyed it if you didn't have any, as a standalone movie. But as a good movie, yeah, I'd have to agree with you. It wasn't that great of a movie.
Yeah, I don't think it was that good of a movie, and I also don't think that it was good for canon. I don't like the precedent of retcons and stuff that it's setting, but I guess we'll get to that. Yeah. So I guess first, let's talk about the plot. Is there plot stuff that still doesn't make sense to you?
Well, first I should say, I think the script, I don't know if it was just me, it kind of seemed a little disjointed at times.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that kind of contributed to the issues there. I don't know if Rowling is the best screenwriter.
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly a forte, but I mean,
right.
That might have contributed to it, I guess.
Yeah, if she had written the story and then had somebody else adapt it.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little better. If they could have gotten Steve Kloves back who did the other movies. So.
Which did he? What movies did he do? Oh, he did the screen.
He did the Potter movies. So.
Mm-hmm. All of them.
I'm not sure if he did all of them, but I think he did.
I knew they have. I knew they had different directors, but I never really looked at who actually adapted it.
Yeah, I think it was Steve Kloves who did the scripts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And those, they didn't have problems with making changes to the stories to make them work better as movies.
Yeah, I personally think Goblet of Fire is the least well adapted, in my opinion, but it still worked.
Harry, did you put your name in the cup?
Yeah, things like that. So there,
yeah.
So
yeah. There was a lot of weird sort of pacing issues and plots that would sort of come up and not matter. They had to include all of the Fantastic Beasts in order to call it Fantastic Beasts, but it had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
And that character of the the zookeeper lady never comes back or is mentioned ever again.
I kind of saw that issue coming up back in the first one. It's going to be called Fantastic Beasts. Are we going to deal with Fantastic Beasts the whole time, as the theme of it the whole time. So I kind of
Right.
sensed that when the first one came out, we knew it was going to be like this, basically setting up the whole Grindelwald thing. So
Right. Yeah, I still kind of wish they had named the second one like A History of Magic or something like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
taking a name from each book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or just Newt Scamander.
Yeah.
Newt Scamander and the Crimes of Grindelwald. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did he even do anything towards the plot to further it so much? Like, I mean, I guess so.
I kind of feel like Dumbledore is going to be shifted into the lead character.
Yeah. He's just more charismatic, which, I mean, that's we talked about this in the last discussion. I think that's Newt's character, is that he's reserved, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're going to try and turn him into the new Harry, so to speak. But I think ultimately it's a story about Dumbledore. So I think that's how it is moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish it had just been a story about Dumbledore. Like, if we had had an actual movie about Dumbledore and Grindelwald in Godric Hollow and all that, that would have been, that would have been a good story.
Or even just like a 5-part Netflix special. I'd go with that.
Yes. Yes. Miniseries. That would have solved all our problems.
Yeah.
See, I'm holding out hope that Netflix or I think WB is getting a streaming service, that they do like a series of the founders. I think that would be perfect for something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm personally holding out for that, but either works for me.
I think if the fandom stays alive long enough, maybe in another 10 years or so, maybe they'll like do a remake. But like I don't know, Jake, if you're familiar with the A&E version of Pride and Prejudice. Naomi, are you?
No.
No, you haven't actually seen it, the one with Colin Firth. It's like the definitive Pride and Prejudice, because it's 6 hours long. It was like a mini series, and it's like exactly the way the book is, like dialogue, everything beat for beat. There's very little that's adapted.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be, can you imagine though how long the whole series would be if they did it that way? Wouldn't be so mini, but
the final book would just be 6 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, do we understand what exactly went down with everything, like plot wise? I don't want to jump into bashing yet and going, what's with this yet, but like is there anything that, like, I feel like I don't fully understand some things, but I'm not sure.
Well,
like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Was Lita ever his girlfriend, or were they just close?
Yeah, I wasn't exactly clear on that. I think they were, I mean, I just kind of assumed they were just really good friends, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's
really
all we
close,
really see.
They were kind of kindred spirits in a way. He was, she was kind of...
They're outsiders or whatever.
Yeah, outsiders, and they just kind of found each other. So that was the vibe I got there. But I think they were both in love with each other at one point.
But they never dated.
Yeah, but she did say that "I love you" that can be interpreted. Was that for Newt, or was it for his brother? They were both standing there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
even then, it doesn't necessarily mean I love you in that way, because you can love a brother.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. How about Queenie and Grindelwald and all of that? Like,
okay.
Why didn't she ask for any clarification of what he meant by "you can love whoever you want"? And why couldn't, like, why didn't she see? I'm assuming that he was using occlumency during those discussions, and why didn't she see that as a red flag?
Yeah.
Yeah. I Queenie was my favorite character in the first one.
She was great in the first one.
She's like Luna before Luna. That's basically what she was. She's my favorite character as well. But like, I think, I don't know. I saw a theory that she was like maybe confounded at some point, or something. They put something in that tea that she was drinking, so maybe she was under a spell. I'm hoping that's the case, because it seemed a little bit too easy for her to just go over like that, and disappointing. But
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And we could kind of serve her right for doing that to Jacob.
Yeah. I have a thing about Jacob. I
She's
want to bring up her.
yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh, no. So I was
No,
just
go
saying,
ahead, Naomi.
She's viewing it as like a way to be able to be with Jacob, but of course Jacob doesn't want to do that. So they've now drifted apart. So it'll be interesting to see now that she's lost Jacob, what she's still going to be doing with Grindelwald. Because the reason why, the way I saw it, the reason why she went with Grindelwald is to be with Jacob, but Jacob didn't go with her.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how it develops in future movies.
Right, like when she'll realize that she's actually lost him, because I'm not sure if she's realized that yet.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Anything else plot or character related?
Well, speaking of Jacob, I just want to bring this up. I don't know if was he at Hogwarts at the end?
I think so.
Okay.
It's on my list of things.
Is that? Oh, you made a list. You're so prepared.
I made a list.
Okay. He was, right? Okay. So I asked my cousin, and he said he wasn't. But then I saw a picture that looked like it was him. And
Well, yeah.
only thing I can say was he was kind of looking around, like he didn't know what was going on. So I guess I'll forgive it if that was the case. But in my head, it's like he shouldn't be able to see that.
Yeah, because if I recall, they apparated to that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can't apparate inside Hogwarts grounds.
Yeah.
Therefore, technically in Hogwarts grounds, and when a Muggle views Hogwarts, they just see it as a dialect old building.
Mm-hmm.
So he was probably just looking around going, why are we at this weird old castle? Oh, I have a dentist appointment. We should be going, type thing. Which is
right.
a confused kind of look at the end on because they weren't technically in Hogwarts grounds yet.
Just maybe
Has ever been a...
I was like, maybe that's just like a hardcore fan thing to catch, not necessarily like a...
Maybe, but still, if anyone's a hardcore fan who understands the series, it should be JK Rowling. But I guess that's the conclusion. That's my conclusion. I was just going to say, was it ever established in canon whether you needed to be magical or own a wand or something to use Sight Along?
I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was just...
Didn't Hermione apparate with her parents at one point?
Did she? I'm not...
I don't know.
I don't think they ever said.
I don't know. They went to Diagon Alley, but just via the Leaky Cauldron, I assumed.
Yeah.
And I think they took a boat or a plane to Australia, right?
Did they say? Maybe, probably.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever... I don't know. So I guess that's open-ended and probably fine.
I'm assuming when she wiped the memories, she just left. Like in the movie. Like I imagine.
Right.
Scenario, so.
Right. So, yeah, there's a lot of sort of plot holes and retcons and things that, honestly, I found kind of disappointing. The very first shot of so I've been watching a lot of the YouTube videos of people ranting, so that might have influenced my opinions.
I've stayed away from those.
That's probably for the best, but it's actually hilarious how terrible it is when you poke holes at it. But the very first shot of the movie with the title card that said American Ministry of Magic, I haven't seen anybody mention this, but that's not what it's called.
Yeah. I didn't notice that. Did they really say that?
Yeah, it was like the very first. Did you see that, Naomi? It said American Ministry.
It struck me as weird, and then I just kind of glanced over it in view of seeing everything else. But now that you mention it again, I'm like, yeah, it's not called that.
It's not called that, and no one called it Makusa in the whole movie. I thought that was a cool name, honestly.
I honestly didn't even notice.
Yeah. I think I also saw that opening sequence differently than a lot of other people, because it seems like the consensus from other things I've seen is that the person in the cell at the beginning was the guard, the follower of Grindelwald, and not Grindelwald himself.
Yeah.
And that then he Grindelwald followed the carriage to go rescue his follower.
Yeah.
See, the way I had read it was that somehow this follower followed along so that he could offer his body to Grindelwald, and they did like a body swap that he needed like a willing servant for. And that's how he escaped.
Yeah, I was just wondering how he managed to pull off a Polyjuice potion without taking Polyjuice.
Yeah. Well, because we knew already that Grindelwald could do that, right? Because he was able to transfer back at will at the end of the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it started off as Grindelwald in the cell, but then didn't the follower go into the cell? I think that's when the switch happened, maybe.
It could have.
Maybe I'd have to go back and watch again.
I don't know if this is a stretch at all, but I do remember Dumbledore when he was talking about the cloak and how they didn't really need it. Didn't he say he and Grindelwald were able to disguise themselves well enough without an invisibility cloak?
He said that he could, so it's assumed that Grindelwald could because they were comparable in power.
Maybe that kind of played into it a little bit, or at least that's what. Yeah. But that might be too much, like too obscure to really go within a movie without mentioning it.
Right.
So I can understand if that's a little frustrating.
I don't know. I think it would be cooler if they had done a body swap as part of the escape, because it doesn't make a lot of sense for Grindelwald to like go rescue, his follower, as a character thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of view him as having just a little more heart than Voldemort. So I don't know. Maybe, not sure. A little bit more devoted to his followers than Voldemort was. Voldemort wouldn't have done that for sure.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah. That was supposed to be like the sort of idea was Voldemort was conceived in a loveless relationship, and that's why he can't love, right? With the love potion.
Yeah.
And Grindelwald presumably had a stable, loving home with a stay-at-home mom and a dad who came to all of his baseball games.
Yeah. I mean, Matilda Backshot, that was on, right? Maybe they had a very loving relationship when they were younger.
Oh, right. Matilda was his aunt?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And he loved Dumbledore, so.
Right, exactly. We know that Though, did he really, or were they just really good friends?
I always viewed it as unrequited love on Dumbledore's part.
On Dumbledore's part?
I always viewed it as like he was in love with Grindelwald, but Grindelwald he didn't feel the same way, but used it to his advantage, maybe.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of think the same thing. Yeah.
I very Slytherin of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think the MacGuffin contrivance of the locket or whatever it is that like terrible? Some people think it's terrible. Some people, I guess, are okay with it.
Well, see, that was something that actually really confused me. I actually had to watch a video on that after the movie because Eddie Redmayne kind of mumbles.
He does.
So I couldn't really understand Jude Law too. I couldn't really understand what they were saying at that part. So I had to look it up, and I guess I don't know. I like the whole unrequited love thing better. And personally, I always felt like they never outright said it, but it's just going off just the lore. I just always felt like Dumbledore just thought that he was personally compromised because of his love for Grindelwald and wouldn't trust himself to go after him.
Right.
For me, I thought that was a legitimate reason because of how he is. He just thought he was
very compelling.
Yeah, it is. It's a tragic love story. That's how I always viewed it. But I just think the whole thing of they have this blood pact where they physically can't fight each other was a little much. And
the only thing,
because when you throw in the blood pack, when did they make this blood pack? Because if they made it before Ariana, the whole issue with Dumbledore's sister, they wouldn't have been able to fight each other.
That's true.
If they made it after Dumbledore's sister, then they hated each other, so they wouldn't have made the blood pack anyway. So when did they make
Wasn't
the blood
that sort of more of a duel between Aberforth and Grindelwald with Dumbledore trying to break it up?
Yeah, I think that was it. I think it was between Aberforth and Grindelwald, and Dumbledore was,
Albus was trying to
intervening.
break it up.
Yeah, Albus
Yeah.
trying to intervene. I think that's how it went down. I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna see that in the next one, flashbacks, maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to make it explicit, the whole Ariana's Nibscurial thing, but then it seems like we all just sort of know that, and it was never mentioned. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I really like about that amulet blood pact thing is that it kind of shows the morally gray area that Albus was in that time of his life. You know, when he was like searching for the Horcruxes and for you know what I mean? Because blood magic sounds really evil to me. I don't know if it is or not, but anything that involves blood sounds like it's probably necromancy or something.
Yeah, it is pretty frowned upon. I don't know if you ever played the Dragon Age games, but they get into blood magic is evil, that whole thing. So, but I mean, then again, Dumbledore he had a different mindset when he was younger.
Right, exactly.
Which kind of played into why he shifted his whole worldview. So I don't know. Maybe they're playing. I don't know. I view this movie as like a lot of setup. That's how it read to me. It's like
because it's in the middle. Yeah.
Third one's probably gonna be more or less the same. Maybe a little more to it, but it's setup, I think. But yeah, the blood thing.
But everybody seems that they've sort of backed from where we ended the last movie. Now everything has just been sort of undone for some reason. Like, how do you feel about Jacob being, oh, it's only the bad memories? Or
yeah, I thought it was, I don't know. It seemed a little...
I saw it coming. I kind of figured that one out.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's hinted at the end of the movie that, it takes away all the bad memories, and then you think, oh, Jacob only had good memories with him. So I kind of pieced that one together and knew it was going to happen. I wasn't too surprised at it. I was like, oh, yay, Phoebe was right type thing. But yeah.
Yeah. How about Credence surviving?
I think they should have kept that deleted scene in where they showed him surviving.
Oh, there was a deleted scene.
Yeah, it was a deleted scene in Fantastic Beasts where he was like in an alley after the fact.
Oh. Is that on the Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Okay, I should go look. I should go watch that. I think I bought the Blu-ray combo pack. I only watched it once.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It is a deleted scene. That is one of the things where they should have kept in to save a lot of outrage over that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they took that out. Yeah.
Everyone just seemed totally fine with it.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I think that's why I wasn't so bothered, because I think that scene to scene. So they absolutely kept it in, though.
Yeah. This is actually back to plot stuff. I'm not sure how I feel about the whole Newt not wanting to take sides thing. Does that not sort of by definition make him a terrible protagonist?
I think it plays into his character. I mean, I think that's just how he is. He's very... Is peaceful the right word, I guess? He's more interested in, his creatures and everything, and he doesn't want to exactly fight in this wizarding world.
Right, but should he not then be sort of a secondary character if the actual action and decisions are being made by other people around him?
Yeah.
I think it also plays into the fact that he's a Hufflepuff. He's not a Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Gryffindor would take side and help Dumbledore, whereas he is a Hufflepuff and he would want to sit back and see and take both parts of the story and see the whole perspective before making his decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
also why I kind of feel like they'll, because Dumbledore's in the movie maybe 20 minutes, if that. So I kind of feel like he'll be more of a primary character going forward, since it's about him versus Grindelwald. They're leading up to that, so
right.
Newt would probably take a back seat, I guess.
Ooh, can I say right now, I'm going to be super disappointed if Grindelwald and Dumbledore's duel is the twin cores thing that they kept going back to in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dumbledore uses the Expelliarmus.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't a fan. I don't know. That wasn't okay in the movies.
No.
I remember that. I don't know if you ever seen the Cinema Sins or the Honest Trailers. Honest Trailers were like, maybe if they moved around a little more while they were dueling, it was more exciting. Like, yeah.
Oh dear. Any thoughts about Nicholas Flamel?
I thought he was going to have a bigger part.
Yeah.
They built up Nicholas Flamel so much, and then he was in there for what, 5 minutes?
Something like that. Yeah, in like 2 scenes.
I didn't really think. I actually was surprised he was part of that last fight. I didn't think he was gonna be anywhere besides. I thought it was gonna be like a pit stop and like a little cameo, like, "Hi, it's Nicholas Flamel." And I know a lot of girls are kind of giggling behind me when they showed him because they knew who he was.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was gonna be a cameo anyway. So I was actually surprised about how much he was in it.
Like, I enjoyed the first bit where it was just silly. I don't know if that's a tone problem, but, you know, it was fun, I guess, as a cameo. But then, like, showing up at the end and stating the obvious, and, like, I don't know if he needed to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to the whole script thing. Like you said, the tone problem. I think it's just the script wasn't the best.
Yeah,
so hopefully
it's a
Rowling
shame. It's a shame.
I mean, I will always fanboy with JK Rowling. I will always support her. I'm not going to go against her at all, but I just personally don't think she's the best screenwriter. That's
yeah. No, I think I agree. Yeah. Do you think there's any chance of a different screenwriter taking over for the next movies?
Well, no, she wrote the third one. She tweeted about finishing it, so I know that. I have all her tweets on notification, so I see everything she tweets. But she already did the third one, so here's hoping she gets a little bit better with that one. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I just think I think a blaring issue was after Leader the Strange's story. I didn't even know they were in the same place as the Grindelwald. I had no idea. Like, how did they get? Yeah. So a little explanation there would have been great. So.
Yeah, like I've been to Paris, so I know what Père Lachaise is, but they didn't really establish it very well. Like, I feel like, if you didn't know what Père Lachaise was, or like what, they sort of mentioned a couple times that they're all going to the cemetery, but it wasn't really established why.
Yeah, I just remember, didn't one of them, was it Newt or someone told his brother, like, don't go or don't let your auras go or something like that? Didn't they warn him at first?
I don't remember that.
Something, I can't remember. He was warned not to go there or something like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't entirely sure why Grindelwald was so out in the open like that anyway, but, you know.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it was really interesting to see how many people showed up. Like, I actually thought that was interesting, that there were like hundreds of people there. Because, you know, if it's the whole Wizard Hitler parallel, that, like, he was a charismatic guy, I guess. But that's the thing, is, like, Grindelwald wasn't really shown to be very charismatic.
No. But wasn't that part of his character they said before, that he was a very charismatic?
Right, that he can convince people of stuff. But I wonder if that's all just kind of, like, mind games, occlumency, magic, something that, like... Because he didn't really seem... Like, he just comes across as a creepy dude. Yeah. You know? It
could be Johnny Depp.
He comes across as Johnny Depp, but yeah.
I think Johnny Depp, despite the whole thing surrounding him, did a great job of what he, you know, with the whole thing. But yeah, I see what you mean about the whole creepy dude thing.
It's like, why would you trust him necessarily? I don't know.
Yeah, he looks like a villain. I mean, he just looks it.
Yeah. So Nagini, any thoughts on Nagini? She was in this.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. It's interesting to see if it's the same Nagini.
Mm-hmm. I think it's supposed to be, right? That's
Yeah,
the
it's
idea.
supposed to be.
Because if it's a blood curse that's passed down through generations, is this going to be the same Nagini? Because this is 1929, so yeah, okay, everyone can be older, but is Voldemort's Nagini this Nagini's daughter type thing? So
I
yeah.
actually never thought about that. I think I just assumed that maybe the curse makes her age differently. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think that's what I assumed.
Right.
I didn't give it much
Because
thought.
she's probably like mid-20s in this, and so she would be very old, almost 100 in the, which, I mean, wizards live a long time, magical animals live a long time.
Yeah.
But still, she's a very spry centenarian snake. Yeah.
Well, I will say I wish they hadn't revealed that. That was, I think it would have been.
We didn't need it.
Not in the trailer. It would have been great as like a shock in movie.
Yeah.
Like if they like, oh, this is the beginning. It's like it was kind of like when like a week before the first movie came out, and they said Johnny Depp has been cast as Grindelwald, and then you see him in the movie. I was still like kind of like, oh my god. But imagine how.
Right, I do remember that being a surprise.
Imagine if they hadn't said anything. He was cast like a week before. That would have been like, oh crap, that's Grindelwald. So I think it's for me.
Would we have known it was Grindelwald? Because when I was in the theater and I knew that Johnny Depp was going to be in the second movie, but I didn't know he was going to be in the first movie. But since I knew who he was and who he was playing, when I saw him on screen, I was like, oh, it's Grindelwald. Yeah. Where if I hadn't known that, I would have been like, oh, what's Johnny Depp doing here?
Yeah, well, they did say his name, so like I
well,
got I would have gotten it then, but yeah, I think it just would have been a better surprise if we didn't know he was cast as Grindelwald. Yeah. Like, what is Johnny?
I think Colin Farrell would have made a really good Grindelwald.
Who?
Colin Farrell, if he had just been Grindelwald the whole time.
He would have been a really good. I think that would have been a very good decision, Colin Farrell. Yeah,
because we actually saw him like gaining Credence's trust, and it was believable.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the whole charismatic thing played off a little bit better with him. He did it. I don't know if he's just a better actor than Johnny Depp.
Well, and the makeup was more normal looking.
Yeah, the only issue is like Grindelwald's pretty well known, so how wouldn't they have known who that was? That was the only issue.
Right. Well, what if Johnny Depp was playing Graves, and he turned into
yeah, or some lesser known actor or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Anybody.
Yeah. I'd forgotten Johnny Depp was even in it. Like I knew he was in it, but it wasn't until the end when he revealed himself, and I was like, "Who is that? Why does he look so familiar?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Johnny Depp." So like I still kind of got surprised because I forgot. Yeah, I was like, "What?" Yeah,
my dad didn't even know that was him the whole time. Like, looking at the theater, I was like, "Who?" Like he looked familiar. I was like, "That was Johnny Depp." He's like, "Really? I had no idea."
Yeah, his characters tend to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so McGonagall taught Transfiguration before she was born.
Yeah, that was one of the things that people really just like. Yeah.
Like we know that Rowling is terrible at math, right? Like that's been established, but this is pretty bad.
I just viewed it as a retcon. I guess it's just a retcon.
But that makes McGonagall 90 in the Harry Potter books then.
Yeah.
Which she's not. She's 70 most.
Maybe around that. I mean, I guess.
60s. Yeah.
It's a cameo they wanted.
Umbridge asked her in book 5 how long she'd been teaching. How many years did she answer?
Yeah, see, it was in canon. There's a whole thing.
I mean, they've taken her birthday off of Pottermore now, so people can't look at Pottermore and go, "Oh, she was born in 1935."
Yeah, I have to look it up, but she did say.
I'm sure it's still on the wiki, right?
Yeah.
I remember someone brought that up in some article I read. The mini
like 10 major plot holes. Yeah, I think I read a couple of articles too.
Tried to stay away from them because I can't deal with that. But yeah.
Oh, I was reading them in the car on the way back from the movie theater.
I saw a few. I know MuggleNet kept posting a ton of them. Like, I hated this movie so much. They posted a ton of them. And some of the plot holes I've looked at, I was like, oh, yes. I don't know. I guess it's just a retcon. That's the best way I can explain it, I guess. I mean, I don't expect her to pop up again. Maybe just a cameo they wanted.
It was another person entirely, not related to her whatsoever.
Right. I wonder if it was like maybe her sister-in-law or something like that.
She's credited as Minerva McGonagall. Right. So that
sister-in-law.
I did see in the wiki that there was another Minerva in her family. So
there you go.
That. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see if she has a bigger role. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the bigger issue than having Dumbledore teach Defense Against the Dark Arts.
But even that, they solved it because they took that away from him. Like right there, they said you're no longer teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts. So I mean,
here, this is the answer to your question, Naomi, from the footnotes on the Harry Potter wiki. McGonagall's year of birth can be calculated as 1935 from her Pottermore biography and Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 15, The Hogwarts High Inquisitor, which reveals she began Hogwarts in December 1956 after working for the ministry for 2 years immediately after graduation. This places her graduation in 1954, her first year in 1947, and her birth in 1935.
There we go.
Because of her birthday in October, she was almost 12 when she started at Hogwarts.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So why did she start in December and not September? Because didn't she take a break after her husband died or something?
Maybe.
No, that was in the 80s. She took a break then. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Her maternal great-grandmother was called Minerva.
Yeah.
All right, that she would have been very old by then.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But are we okay generally with Dumbledore teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts here?
I mean,
it ties in with the whole McGonagall thing because he's based on the fact that Dippet would be headmaster.
Mm-hmm.
So that would leave, and then if McGonagall was Transfiguration,
then
he would be
Dumbledore couldn't be.
So that means at some point in the future, McGonagall would have to leave for him to become Transfiguration.
Yeah. Right. Because there was also that line. I think the ministry guy told him he's no longer teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts. He couldn't, so he kind of removed him from that post on the spot.
Right.
Remember that? So,
I don't know if he had the authority to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe.
Like, that's the whole point of the 5th Harry Potter book, is that the ministry can't interfere at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
And I thought he got it back at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't he had those, like, wristlets that bound him from...
Mm-hmm. Or I think it was a magic tracker. You could tell what he was casting. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't have minded him teaching DADA and then later teaching Transfig if McGonagall wasn't involved in this at all. I don't think there's any problem with him originally having taught a different subject, moving to Transfig, and then becoming headmaster. You know, but
and the DADA curse hasn't started yet.
No, because Voldemort hasn't been born either.
Nah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Any other small quibbles before we get to the big one?
I don't think so. Not for me.
It depends what the big one is, because the next one on my list is Credence.
Yeah. So how terrible of an investigative reporter is Rita Skeeter that she missed an entire Dumbledore?
Yeah. You see, I have some theories about that. I don't know.
Yes, please.
I don't know if this is me fanboying still, because I still defend Potter till I die. But there's two things I see here. Okay. So, for one, there was never a specific date that said when Dumbledore's dad died. They just said he died in Azkaban when he went in 1890 or whatever. Never specifically stated when he died. So it might be stretching a little bit, but maybe somehow he did get out. I mean, Sirius did it. Maybe somehow he was able to get out. He was a Dumbledore and possibly had a kid in 1901 or whenever Credence was born. Maybe.
Right.
That's a stretch.
Right.
I know this is a stretch, but they never specifically stated when he died. But I think the most blaring thing is that Grindelwald was lying because all Albus said was that a Phoenix comes to a Dumbledore. He didn't specifically say his particular lineage, I guess. He just said a Dumbledore, so he could be within that family tree, and Grindelwald just lied to manipulate him or something like that.
So I've only seen the movie once. Did they actually specifically say that he is Albus's brother? Or could he be a cousin?
Yeah, he did. Grindelwald said
he did. He did say that.
Yeah, but he could have been lying about that. He could be a cousin. That would be more
nothing at all.
I think.
But see, the question there,
playing and he manipulated the Phoenix to go to Credence, and that Credence is just Credence. He's just a nobody, unfortunately, that was in the wrong place at the wrong time and is just being used to further Grindelwald's plans by pretending he's a Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And that way we have no plot points and everybody's happy.
What if he's Ariana?
I saw a very weird theory that he was Ariana's son. And I was like, she was 14 when he died. I don't think so.
But wait, wasn't that, speaking again to your whole unrequited thing that Grindelwald might be straight, wasn't there an issue, something with Grindelwald and Ariana? Or am I imagining that?
An issue?
That maybe he had tried something with Ariana? Or maybe I'm just imagining something.
I'm not sure.
No, okay, I'll edit that out. Never mind. I'm trying to make him more evil by making him also.
I hope not. So,
well, I mean, it's very adult and gross.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he was most likely lying about that whole thing. Like, he could have just summoned a sort of Phoenix or whatever, and
right. So you think if he's lying that he's not a Dumbledore at all, and it's just all a complete lie?
That could be it. Yeah, I mean,
I hope so. I honestly hope so.
Because he's trying to defeat Dumbledore, because he's the only one that can technically stop him, I guess. So he wants to defeat Dumbledore, and he wants this powerful Obscurio on his side. So I guess.
But so if he's so powerful, the only one who can defeat Dumbledore because of his explodey powers, but yet that other guy that worked for Grindelwald and who killed the nanny was able to just, whip up a nonverbal shield spell to protect himself, and he was just able to stand there and be fine.
I guess. I mean, Newt survived, didn't he?
He wasn't as close. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would only make sense, really, for him to be the secret weapon if there was an actual something emotional at stake for Albus, But then I also thought that was the reason he couldn't fight Grindelwald. So.
Yeah. That was.
So I don't know. It really was.
It's a tragic love story that would have been made it better.
So much more interesting. I kept looking at the trailers, and every time it would play, I would turn to my husband and say, so when he says, I can't fight Grindelwald, does it sound to you like he's saying, I can't fight him because I have complicated feelings about a past relationship? And he's like, no, it doesn't sound like that.
That is
it sounded like that to me. You can't fight him because he still loves him.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't delivered that way.
That's
in the trailer.
That literally was my thoughts for years, that he just was compromised. Like, I can't fight him because I'm in love with him. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he saw him in the Mayor of Erised. That is obviously, he loves him. So that would have made such a compelling story. So I think the blood pact thing was a little much.
Yeah. It was a
I don't
cop-out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say.
I mean, even if they were afraid of showing, sexual diversity in a movie, like, then at least just make it, I don't want to fight him because he's my friend, Even that, like, it feels like the whole blood magic thing was just a contrivance that didn't need to be there and just made it weaker. I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that, like, I know there was a lot of backlash about not, like, what you just said about being afraid to show the diversity there. I'm kind of hoping that the next one that they'll do, because I personally feel like that story is best told in flashbacks when they were younger, because there's really no reason for them to show it as much as they're adults and going against each other, but they can make this sort of love story build up into flashbacks to the younger versions. So maybe there's something there, and maybe that'll explain the blood pact a little better.
Yeah.
I know they showed them doing it in the mirror, but there has to be some sort of backstory to it.
I don't know if a movie has ever been good in hindsight because it was setting up complicated things for future movies. It's like, maybe it'll all end up okay, but that doesn't make this one good.
Yeah, there's still 16 years to cover, though. So
oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's only, 3 movies left in 16 years. Yeah. The end of Grindelwald wasn't until 1945, and it's only 1929.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, there's a lot left to tell. I mean, to clean up. I mean, there's still 3 more movies.
Yeah. But I feel like if they his whole Hogwarts school year yet, because he graduates in 1945. So.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I feel like if they keep going the direction they're going, they're gonna like accidentally obliterate the line 10 years before James is born.
It's an alternate universe. They've just gone whole DC on this, and this is an alternate universe.
What if at the end of the last of these, it was all just a dream?
That would have been something.
Harry wakes up and his scar's hurting.
I don't know what's happening again.
So speaking of Harry waking up with his scar hurting, I think we had this kind of conversation over Cursed Child, but do you think that this movie counts as canon?
I've now seen Cursed Child, so before I was saying spoiler free, but I've now seen it. I enjoyed it. If you don't think of anything else. Like it's
right. So I think it's pretty well established. Oh yeah. And it doesn't fit with canon very well. But neither, I'm saying, does Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. And I feel like it should.
If you're new to the series and you are fans, I think it can now be split between fans of Harry Potter and fans of Crimes of Fantastic Beasts. And you can come in and enjoy the Fantastic Beasts and not enjoy Harry Potter. It's like its own standalone entity.
I would be curious if anyone actually is a fan of these movies and not a fan of Harry Potter, because I feel like, why would you even go to see them?
Well, I do know people. I do know there are people that I interact with on like Facebook that they have said like this is much more interesting than Potter. They said, like, I know one specifically said this features a better protagonist, better villain, and lore actually worth caring about. So yeah, there are people who like it over Potter, who are more interested in there. I
guess it's fair because it's not a children's book, I think
it's because the more adult.
Yeah.
They're out of school. Potter's very much contained within Hogwarts, and so. And I think they don't have the whole adage of us telling them that wasn't in the book. It was really like this. So it's like we're all seeing this together for the first time. So
right.
They don't have us ringing in their ears about how.
We are going like, wait, McGonagall isn't born yet. Wait, there's only 3 Dumbledore.
There are a few things. Yeah. But ultimately, I think it's a new story that is being told. I personally feel like once it's all said and done, it'll make a little more sense. I mean, I'm hoping because we have 3 more movies left. A good 15 years and a story left. So
Is that what it is? There's 5 total?
yeah,
Yeah.
5. It was supposed to be 3, and then she announced it was 5. So
Okay.
Yeah. It's a reimagining of the Wizarding World.
There you go.
There we go.
It's JK Rowling's own fan work.
It's a fan fiction.
I don't view the Cursed Child as canon at all.
No, I don't either.
There was too much stuff in that when I was just like, no, this isn't going to work for me.
But it was easy to say Cursed Child isn't canon because it wasn't written by Joe.
Yeah.
But this was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I know WB has a history of sticking their hands in stuff. I don't know if you follow the DC movies, but they kind of.
I mean, I saw BVS and it was not good either.
They have a habit of sticking their hands in a lot of those directors.
Yeah.
Stories.
So you think that it's Warner Brothers' fault that this had so many plot holes?
Well, this is just me, but I mean, I follow the superhero stuff a lot, so I know for a fact. I know for a fact that WB, the DC movies aren't what they should be because they like to stick their hands in stuff. Because there's always this sort of ultimate edition where they clear these things up and everything. Like, okay, so that was much better than what they put out. Why did they interfere here? So I don't know if it's me or just being me, or maybe they have something to do with it. Maybe they really are just doing their own thing. But I'm not sure. I just know that, Warner Brothers.
Well, Jake, I must say your hope is very refreshing. It's good to hear that that's alive.
And I will defend Potter till I die. I know.
Good. Well, at least there'll be one person left on MH. It's terrible. No, I'm not going anywhere. All right. Well, unless anyone else has anything else to contribute.
I'm just upset we didn't get to see the inside of the Hufflepuff common room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I want to see my common room. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, by the way, great to see like a positive representation of the Slytherin in a film.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it would have been nice if they were in the same house so that we could have seen their common room.
Lita was a Slytherin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing. One thing I want to bring up. How did you guys feel about that whole story, the whole switcheroo thing? Because I personally, that was probably my biggest issue.
It was weird. Yeah. And speaking of representation, isn't it kind of a problem that they're like, hey, we'll throw in a mixed race character, which is fantastic, but then like because her dad was a rapist, like that's not cool.
Yeah, that was a little much. That whole thing. I actually literally cocked my head while I was watching that scene. It's like, really? And then once you switch the babies, that was kind of weak, I felt.
Yeah. Speaking of that, if Lita the Strange is the last of her family, where did Rabastan and Ridophilus come from?
Was she the last of her family, or just the last of her line of it, or something?
Did they state
something about her being the last?
I don't remember that.
I think maybe I'm making things up.
You could probably be right.
Because Bellatrix married into that family, right? She was
yeah.
Okay. So did they state how old her husband was? Because he was. I don't think they were in a loved marriage. I think it was more
not particularly.
I think it was a loveless marriage because she was completely infatuated with Voldemort.
Yeah.
So I think that was more about. I don't know.
I think it was probably arranged. It was pure blood stuff.
Like
Yeah.
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 It doesn't actually state on the wiki that she's related to Rabastan and Ridophilus.
Yeah.
I do wish they would have kept her, though. I thought she was a really good character.
Yeah, she seemed good.
I didn't expect her to, want it done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of unfair to her.
Yeah. I thought Zoe Kravitz did a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't actually state that they are actually related. They may or may not be related. Could be something along the line that another Lestrange peers at other woodworks, like a Dumbledore does. that makes them related that way.
Like all purebloods are related.
Exactly. Yeah. So they said that all interrelated.
I'm pretty sure Narcissa and Lucius are related somehow. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think that's
cousins.
established, right? Or something.
Yeah, I think they're like second or third cousin, something like that. So.
Yeah. Well, that's legal.
The pureblood thing, they wanted to keep it within.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining me. This was fun. Good to rehash all of this. Hopefully, when we come back in another 8 more of these episodes and discuss the next movie, we'll have more positive things to say.
Yeah, we'll see.
We should maybe wait until it's out on DVD, do like a group showing with the 3 of us, and then go straight into talking about it, so it's more fresh in our minds.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
That would be great.
Pull out the scripts and do a whole roll. Yeah, that episode would be like a couple hours long.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks again, and we will on with the rest of the episode. All right, good job, guys. Yay. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and watched the whole YouTube video. I'm going to end that now, so subscribe if you're interested in me and my YouTube stuff. Check out the channel. I post about planner stuff and baby stuff.
And check out MH.